Here are the 4 emulation devices I recommend under $100. Let's start with the cheapest device. This is the Frog SF2000. This is one of the cheaper devices on emulation and on this list. What games can this play and who's this recommended for? So as you can see, it does come with a menu music option. I always have that volume turned down when I'm here. So what games can this play? It says it has MAME, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Mega Drive, Super Famicom, Family Computer, and then it has the settings right here. So let's test out a few of these games. If you ever want to exit out, you can press the select and start at the same time. You can create or load saves. You can create up to 4 saves on this device. I've played this before, so you can quit it if you don't want to save it. There are 762 Game Boy Advance games on here. You can see how many are at the top right. And of course, they're going to recommend Pokemon Emerald, because that's going to be the most popular one on these types of devices. You can press both of those to load your save whenever you start the game, and you can start back right where you were. And this is at the very beginning of the game. This is really the true color when you look from the side of this camera. Looking straight at it, it's going to be pretty bright because of the light I have. But that is about the true color of what we're seeing. It's really bright, it's nice, it's vivid. I'm just going to be playing the first game from each of these recommended systems. I've never played that game, but again, the colors are really nice. So that was Game Boy Color. There's also Game Boy. We have Sonic as well. You can overwrite saves. Super Famicom. So something interesting. Sometimes these games are not going to be compatible. Even though they're on this device, they're going to run a lot slower than they should. This is one of those examples. It's really slow. They have Family Computer, so they have Contra. And that runs fine. And you can even add games to this device, but it is really weird to do so. So something interesting about this device, I tried using my own SD card and it would not work. I had to use the one that came with this device, which is going to work fine for some people, but you do run the risk with the SD cards that come with these devices. There's a possibility it's going to not work. It's just one day going to stop. Who is this device for? It can play all these different games, and at this price point, I recommend it's for those who are very light gamers or really young kids. I have these for my kids. My kid just likes to play the dinosaur game, the one right here on the MAME Multiple Arcade. He just likes to play that one. Doesn't know how to play it one bit, but he enjoys it. And I think that's what gaming should be about. Do you enjoy it? So some more things before we wrap up this device. It's Type-C charger, which a lot of devices have right now. Has a volume wheel, headphone jack, SD card slot, and a way to turn off the device. And this is perfect for those who are into light gaming, especially at that price point. Let's talk about the Nintendo DSi. So this is not a modded DSi, but it is Japanese, and it's also able to play any DS game because of this cartridge right here. This says it's a 482-in-1 cartridge game, but what's interesting is that it came with an SD card, and I replaced that SD card with another one. I just moved the necessary files that came with it onto this one. So I can put any game DS on here, and now I can have access to that in just one cartridge. So how does that work? Let's turn on our DSi. So the game that it thinks it's playing is Deep Labyrinth. So let's play that game. We can choose the micro SD card, and then we're going to go into this folder right here, and that's where we can put all our games. And those are all the games I have on this DS, or this cartridge. And it's just as simple as that. I want to play Lego Star Wars, I can do that. This is pretty much just a menu to get to our game. So that's how easy it is for the DSi. You can play your games through there. And if you ever just want to exit it, you can always hit the power button to turn it off and restart it. Just like a normal DSi, and then it has that game right there. So this is going to be able to play any DS game. So who do I think this device is for, especially at this price point? I think it's still for beginner gamers or those who are wanting to get a little bit deeper into it, because the DS had an amazing game collection outside of Pokemon and Mario games. Right now I'm playing through Chrono Trigger, and I'm just in the very beginning of the game, but I'm really enjoying it. So if you're looking to get into that DS library, highly recommend picking one of these up. Or if you already have a DSi or a DS, pick up one of these. This is going to be one way to access all those games. Let's talk about one of the devices that really took over the emulation scene. This is the Miyoo Mini Plus. This is probably my favorite and one that I'm going to recommend the most. Not only for its price, but for what it can do. This can play up to PlayStation 1, which is crazy to me. And all of these game systems have an amazing library, so we're able to access all of that, especially for those who have never gotten to play these games. So I have the Onion OS installed on here, so it's going to look different if you purchase this device with the software not on there. What you can do is go to games, and I have a certain list of systems I want on here. So I have anything from the Atari to PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 is going to be the newest system that this can play right now. Now, I do actually have the DS system on here, but that is still sort of in a beta scenario. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is made for DS games because there have been questionable things going on with this device if you're trying to play DS games. So I haven't tried it yet, so I can't recommend it, but I have put it on this device. So I recommend up to PlayStation 1 on here. How do these games play on this device? Well, something neat is that there's like a queue that this device can offer. So we can press that middle button. In games that I have played before that I can just exit out of, I can jump right back into the game. For example, I have Fire Red, Spyro the Dragon, Pokemon Emerald, and Batman Beyond. So let's try it out. It's going to load that state right where it was. Alright, let's say I'm done playing this game. I'm feeling some Spyro. I'm going to go play that now. This is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1. Well, I feel tired of that game already, so I'm just going to go back to Batman Beyond. Well, I'm tired of that game. Let's try something else. As you can tell, I really enjoy the Game Boy Advance games. They were not in my season of gaming. PlayStation 1 was mine. That's where I really got into gaming. So this device has helped me get access to those games that I wasn't able to play as a kid. One, because of money, and two, it was just before my time. Only by a little bit, too. There's also ways to get achievements with this device, which is really neat, but you do need to be connected to Wi-Fi. You have access to RetroArch. You can change the theme of this. This is pretty much the emulation device I'm going to recommend to someone if they really want to get into this, especially for this price. Is this for beginners? I say yes, but also for more dedicated to gaming spaces. So if you're looking to gift someone an emulation device, I think this is the one to think about. Last, let's talk about the 3DS. This is the original 3DS, and this has been modded. This is a Japanese 3DS, and what's interesting is that the Japanese market for DS and 3DS, they're going to be cheaper than English. So what I have done, I pick up Japanese devices, I mod them, and then I can play them with English games. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the original 3DS, and I have access to the Game Boy Advance, DS, and 3DS on this device. That is what I'm going to be using this device for. You can do way more things than that, but for me, I'm just interested in DS and 3DS on this device, and yes, I have access to Game Boy, but I think this device is going to be a better experience than the 3DS because of its size and also its portability. It's about the same width, like if we show that off right there, it's about the same. But this is going to be more pocketable than the other device. They're about the same. But overall, I think this is going to be the better Game Boy Advance device. So if you're looking to play the 3DS games, this is one I have to recommend under $100. Or if you can pick up a 2DS under $100, you can mod that as well. So how are we playing these games if we do not have the game cartridge? Because that is empty right now. It is all loaded in the SD card right here. There's ways to mod your 3DS, and now I have all the games on that SD card. And there's also ways to download these games straight to your DS. It does take a lot longer to download them onto your 3DS rather than get them from your computer. So just something to note there. You can also have custom themes. You can make this a very customizable device, which makes it a lot more fun than just a normal 3DS. And you don't have to pay for themes anymore. The 3DS has an amazing library that not a lot of people know about. Or they do and they just haven't played it yet. Either way, I think this is probably the best option under $100 for playing 3DS games. It's not going to be as fast as the new 3DS or the new 2DS, but it's going to give you access to those games. So to recap and to talk about what devices I recommend, this is going to be for people who are completely new or it's a throwaway device. And I call it that because I have that for my children who are under 3 years old. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. For the price I paid for this, I'm willing to have them try it out. I'm not as comfortable with them playing these other devices because they're a bit more expensive. If you're wanting a better gaming experience than this device, I highly recommend going up to here. This is going to give you access to those older games, PlayStation 1 and older, and they have a fantastic library. Now, if you're looking to play DS games, I'm going to recommend one of these two devices. If you're looking for the original DS library, highly recommend the DSi. But if you're looking for the 3DS and DS, I really recommend the 3DS original. So overall, those are my recommendations for emulation devices under $100. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and check out this video right here to see more emulation devices you might be interested in. Thanks for watching.